Hello, my name is Sam Finkelstein. I am the principal, CEO, and founder of Legal Prep Charter Academy in Chicago, Illinois. We are a high school serving grades 9 through 12, and we've been around since 2012, so we're in our 11th year of operation. Before I get into one of my favorite topics, which is talking about the awesome things that we're doing at Legal Prep and our staff and our students, I'll give a little background on myself. I have a little bit of a unique path to this work. I have no education background, and actually, as you might have guessed from the name of the school, I am formerly an attorney. I was a law firm attorney and then a law professor before shifting over and opening a charter school. And I mention that a little bit because that drives sort of the purpose and reasoning behind opening Legal Prep. When I would go to gatherings such as this, when it was filled with lawyers, I would look out into the audience, and what I would see is a reflection of myself. I would see people that largely looked like me. The legal profession suffers from a stark lack of diversity. There's only one other profession that is less diverse, and that is veterinary science. So there's a lot of work for us to do if we want to catch up in that regard. You may ask, why is that important? There's a lot of people out there who would say fewer lawyers is actually what the goal should be. And not to argue with them or spend too much time on lawyer jokes, the reality of the situation is that lawyers wield a disproportionate amount of power in this country. They are overrepresented in state and federal government. They create laws, they interpret laws, they create rights, they erode rights. And what we need is students that look like our students at Legal Prep being a part of those discussions that are happening to create and interpret those laws. We serve a population that is 99% African American and 90% low income. And we need our students to pursue those legal professional careers so they can help make the change that they need to see. So that is part of the reason we started Legal Prep, right? We wanted to increase this pipeline of students that are interested in the legal profession. However, what we know when you have a freshman in high school, not all of those kids necessarily know they want to be lawyers. So it's important that we have our students be well-rounded. And so what we do with the law is we make sure that we are using it to prepare students to be successful regardless of what they do. And we use those lawyerly skills to do that. These are skills like critical thinking, analytical reasoning, oral advocacy, persuasive writing. Those are skills that are going to help our students regardless of the profession that they end up pursuing, even if it's not the law. So how do we use the law to innovate at Legal Prep and engage and excite our students? We do that in a couple of ways. One, we infuse law classes into our college prep curriculum. So all of our students are taking a law class at each and every grade level. Our freshmen and our sophomores are taking a law survey class. And so they are going through different areas of law and figuring out what it is that lawyers do in those particular areas and what that area of law is all about. It's really important for our students to get that sort of experience and exposure, because when they come in, they don't necessarily have that expertise or that background. I used to run an orientation session for our freshmen, and I would ask them, how many of you have met a lawyer before? And a small fraction would raise their hand. I'd say, okay, what did that lawyer do? Every single time, it was a criminal defense lawyer or a family lawyer that they knew. They didn't know anything of the vast majority of what a lawyer actually does. No experience. So we make sure that we get them that knowledge piece about what lawyers do. And kids get excited about that. They're like, oh, I got all these interests, and the law is actually related to that. I spend all this time on my phone. And lawyers are doing all sorts of things when it comes to patents and trademarks and technology. So they learn a little bit about every little piece of the law during those first 2 years. Then we take it up a notch when it gets to junior and senior year, and they're taking college-level law classes where they're getting both high school credit and college credit simultaneously for the classes that they're taking. This means that that a majority of our kids are graduating with around 12 college credits, and they can take those credits with them to whatever college or university they end up studying at after they leave Legal Prep. And that's a really powerful thing to have with you, to know the rigor that is going to be expected of you when you step onto a college campus and have achieved that already as a high school student. So that's one way in which we infuse the law into what we do at Legal Prep. The other takes place outside of our doors, and it's really, really important too. So once a month, we load up all of our students on a bus and we send them to all these different locations across the city of Chicago. It is a logistical nightmare, but it's really, really worth it. They go to corporate legal departments, they go to law firms, and they are working through a set curriculum with these group of lawyers at each and every one of those locations. Our 9th graders are working on a negotiations curriculum. Our 10th graders are working on mock trial. Our juniors working on a debate program, and our seniors, they're working on a team building program with their lawyers. And this does a couple things. One, it helps our students develop a network at a very early age of lawyers and legal professionals that will help them later in life. This is a network I would have killed for if I were a high school student wanting to be a lawyer. These are law firm attorneys and partners. These are judges. These are corporate people at corporations. And they can call upon those people when they're looking for internships, when they're looking for references, when they're looking for jobs. So that's a super important part of this process. The other part, which is maybe more immediately important in that moment, is that they get to be in these professional environments, sitting in those corporate boardrooms, strategizing with other attorneys around trial strategy, negotiation strategy. They really can see themselves being lawyers in those situations. And that's a powerful tool. What seemed out of reach or something that was only available or accessible through a TV program, they now get to see themselves in that role and understand that they can actually do that. And they can be successful. They're getting praise from these lawyers for doing this work, and they could be in that seat as a paid attorney in 10 years from now, and it doesn't seem like a stretch. So that's a really important part of that law program piece that we do on a monthly basis. So I've talked a little bit about how we innovate with the law at Legal Prep, but it isn't limited to the law. Innovation is really, really important to what we do. And a while back, I found a definition that I really liked of what innovation is. And I think it was McKinsey & Company, the consulting firm, that had come up with this. But they defined innovation as a systematic process of solving problems and creating solutions. And that's really what we're trying to do at Legal Prep. So we do that by creating a team-led approach to our leadership model. So when decisions are made, policies are changed, this runs through what we call our Team Advisory Council. This is a group that encompasses a wide variety of staff members in our building, and more importantly, you can attend those meetings and be involved in those policy discussions regardless of your years of service, your role in the building, and have an active part in suggesting new ideas and determining what we're going to do in the direction of the school. This is also true of planning for the future. Every year in November, we start gathering a school planning committee. Just like our Team Advisory Council, anybody in our building can participate in that process. And some of the best ideas that we've had have come out of that process from some of our newer staff members. I thought a lot about what example to provide, because there are a lot of different things that we've done that have come out of these groups. And the one that I landed on was the one that's actually taking place in Legal Prep's building right now. It's a Wednesday, so we are doing what's called our colloquium days today. Colloquium is a concept that was developed by a teacher who was new to our building last year. She noticed, the fact that we were a smaller school, we serve about 250 kids, that we could not offer very many electives to our students. In the past, one, maybe two, and it was a very, very small menu. And she said, what if we shifted instructional minutes to Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then Wednesday, which is our early dismissal day anyway, we let teachers pick things that they were passionate about. And we let kids enroll in those offerings and pick up to 5 different electives, and they could do things like yoga, gaming club, choir. We have students that are in a blues band right now learning from a Grammy-nominated blues artist. We have students that are in a creative writing class. We have students that are doing improv right now. All sorts of cool things. They get to choose from 25 different offerings. We have another group that's learning how to braid hair. It's really cool, and what it does is not just give kids something to be excited about on Wednesdays, but it really is important from a social emotional perspective. We have students that are building these really important relationships with teachers that teachers can then utilize when they are going to work with that student in their core subject area later down the road. It also introduces some of our upperclassmen teachers to our underclassmen students, which has value as well. So you learn additional adults in the building. Are they going to be there to support you down the road? So it's just one example of giving teachers agency to present ideas, maybe ideas that they would have been scared to present at another school that doesn't have an open door policy like this. But really great things can happen when you allow people who are closest to the students, give them the agency, give them the opportunity to present ideas. You can really see some excellent ideas and help those to flourish for the benefit of the students and the benefit of their community at large. And that's something we really tried to take to heart at Legal Prep. And we're excited to keep innovating in this way and do this for the benefit of our students. Thank you all for your time today. Enjoyed the opportunity.